We give the Destiny 2 developers a hard time for not coming up with completely new gear every single season, or not to our extent that we would like, but did you know that there are about 600 guns in the game? It's kind of amazing that even despite the wide variety of all the guns, for the most part they feel really fun to shoot. It's what kept the series so fresh despite it being almost 7 years old. To help broaden my horizons and possibly discover something that you might like, I asked all of you in live stream to give me some loadouts to run. And some of them were good, some of them were bad, and some of them are just plain fun. Today I will show you 5 builds that stood out to me that have been suggested from you all on stream. I will do my best to give them a fair ranking based on their offense, defense, versatility, survivability, speed, and consistency, as well as giving them a grade from F to S for flavor and viability. Flavor being how unique and synergistic the build is, and viability being just how good the build is for slaying out, which tend to be at odds with one another as the community tends to just find the hard fast meta and stick with it. Starting out, we have TKG Wildfire with a Cerberus +1 with chromatic fire, and the attunement of elements are bottom tree Stormcaller. Just like the post suggests, I freaking love Cerberus. I mentioned it in stream and I'm glad he jumped on this. Unfortunately, it's just one of those weapons that's just good enough not to be laughed at by the whole community, and just bad enough that everyone who runs it doesn't run it unironically. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever asked yourself, explosions? If yes, then the chromatic fire and the Cerberus might be the Destiny 2 embodiment of Tumad. Everywhere you go, pure concentrated chaos shall follow. But even with all this, sometimes you just think to yourself, normal levels of stupid shan't suffice my bloodlust. And my friend, I hear you. Aiming is for poor people. We aren't using the Cerberus to have good aim. Thus, I present to you Arc Souls. Fiercely efficient, the Arc Souls will fire a 3-round burst of damage to any targets within roughly 30 meters in front of you. While each shot only deals around 11 damage, adding just a little bit of sauce on top of the stupid sandwich you're making is the perfect way to guarantee that nothing survives. This build was amazingly fun, and fortunately for us, we had the perfect map. Anomaly. Man, I hate this map. It's a freaking glorified blender inside of Shotgun City, but you know what is great at shutting down Shotgun City? The Cerb. Had this been a larger map, we'd have definitely been in trouble, but between every part of this build, I can consistently just chunk damage into the enemy team. Just like weaponized Taco Bell, just my mere presence was warrant enough to get the enemy team to request a restraining order on me. And unfortunately for them, bottom tree Stormcaller now moves faster when allies are near with electrostatic surge. So it's like I'm running transversive steps all the time without actually having to run them. Pair this with a sniper to cover your long ranges and let them all tremble at the sound of your 4-headed dog. Just the way I like it. Offense 6, defense 7, versatility 6, survivability 5, speed 6, consistency 6, flavor A+, viability B-. If only the Cerb were just a little bit better at mid-range. Love is inescapable, and so is the tracking of Jotuun that creates sunspots because fuck you and everybody near you. Have you heard of this gun called Jotuun? It's like a rocket launcher, but it uses special ammo. Higher tier players will scoff at you for running this thing with things like comp, but we all know the truth that they fear the toaster just like everybody else. Let her rip. Just like that. It's that easy. We get 2. We win those. And just like everyone else, sometimes I like to take stupid up a notch, and so did Cayde7, who suggested bottom tree solar with precious scars on the Titan running the toaster. In case you were unaware, bottom tree hammer Titan will create sunspots when you get kills with the almighty toaster. The sunspot is just like any of your other sunspots, so you can use it to regen abilities, gain a little bit of health, and even boost your weapon damage if you can get to it in time. Cayde wanted us to run this with the newly buffed Precious Scars, the Titan exotic helmet. Despite this exotics buff being a huge letdown, the synergy is still there. Get a kill, buff your allies and yourself with increased recovery, create a sunspot, rinse and repeat. We paired this combo with the new high-impact pulse rifle, the Legal Action. This somewhat forfeited our offensive tools, but who needs offense when you have the almighty toaster? Bottom Tree Hammer Titan is amazing as a subclass too. The super is nigh indestructible outside of an immediate shutdown because the health regen that you can get from getting kills, and the melee is nothing to laugh at either. It does around 150 damage with a single punch through its burn. Offense 4, defense 8, versatility 5, survivability 6, speed 5, consistency 6, flavor B+, and viability B-. All in all, this was the best toaster setup I have ever seen. Sometimes you gotta be the villain in the Crucible, and sometimes you have to just wake up and choose violence, and that's exactly what Carter was not thinking when he suggested this build. Unfortunately, we got a user by the name of Mountaintop in our chat. I apologize for the PTSD this will trigger in longtime players of PvP, but for you younglings, one time Bungie thought it would be cool to make pseudo-exotic weapons. These weapons were called pinnacle weapons. At first, they were just interesting pieces of gear to collect with unique perks, but eventually the community found ways to make them absolutely busted over time. One such weapon was the Mountaintop. This weapon was effectively a special ammo rocket launcher. The perk on it was quite literally called micro missiles. This made the weapon damn near impossible to counter from a simple blast and swap combo. The Mountaintop isn't nearly as effective as it was back in the day, but you can still see in the footage that it is still pretty damn nasty. We combined this with the Peacekeepers and the 750 Ikilos SMG. Peacekeepers are one of the most slept on exotic armor pieces for Titan. Don't be surprised if when Dune Marchers get nerfed, or if they get nerfed, these things might just rise to the top. They offer instant swap speeds for your SMG, which SMGs are on the rise as well, full reload for storing your SMGs for just a little bit, and holy shit levels of strength and movement speed. I really need to make a build with these things, but for right now, offense 7, defense 8, versatility 7, survivability 5, speed 7, consistency 7, flavor C-, viability A-. Even after Mountaintop's hefty nerf, it is still one of the scariest and scariest weapons in the Crucible. But what if you're a Titan that just likes to punch stuff like my boy Pato over here? Titans are one of the Traveler's most precious creatures. So simple, yet so brave. They interact with the world around them through their fists, just as if their interact button on their controller was also bound to the melee button. Nothing to me screams more pure Titan energy than a Syntheseps. Increased punch range with the possibility of increased punch damage, it's a beautiful combo. Combine that with the Slug Sniper, the Chaperone, and you have yourself a tried and true Titan build. Surprisingly, I used the Chappie very little in my game with it, mostly because the map was so damn large I didn't have many opportunities to actually get to map people. This build was actually the build that drove me to make Wednesday's video, if you haven't seen it already, about the Contingency Plan Arc Scout. In fact, you may recognize some of the footage that you're seeing in this from the footage that was on that Wednesday's video. The combination between these two weapons meant I could cover basically any range with ease and deadly efficacy. I wish I had more time to mess around this while I was on the stream, because I can guarantee it would have been good regardless of the map. My only complaint is that Synthos and Chappie are just a little bit too standard for Titans, which hurts the flavor a bit, but it is definitely a tried and true setup. I don't think we have had a truly quote-unquote meta loadout here on this series, so here we go. Offense 9, defense 7, versatility 7, survivability 6, speed 5, consistency 8, flavor D+, and viability A+. I'm only keeping it at an F tier because it's not running a hand cannon, which is a very, very standard issue for the PvP meta, but still, pretty solid. This really demonstrates how at odds flavor and viability can really be. Unfortunately, we didn't get any super interesting or fun hunter builds this go around, but hopefully Ju0's I8's build, man that's a mouthful, using the Thorn Necrotic Grip combo on Bottom Tree Solar Warlock might just make up for it. The community has yet to truly explore all the boundaries that this new Bottom Tree Dawnblade can push. This build definitely tries to push it. The whole idea of this build is to play hard into the damage over time that this tree can provide. Combo this with Thorn for increased burnage, the Necrotic Grips, which not only triggers from Thorn's kills, guaranteeing melee damage and AoE on kills, but to top it all off, a singular melee from the Bottom Tree as well as Necrotic Grips can kill a target from the burn that they both provide. It was pretty damn nasty. I paired my loadout with a sniper, of which I'm not great at doing. You see me take a lot of body shots here, but even despite that, it was still a great loadout, and the super, oh my freaking gosh, the super is so freaking good.
Kobe. I respect that man stayed around to try to challenge that. I'm burning something. I don't know what I'm burning, but I'm burning it. Oh my gosh, so many people. Oh my gosh, that was so many dudes. Oh!
Offense 7, defense 7, versatility 7, survivability 5, speed 5, consistency 7, flavor. I gotta give that an A+. The burn combinations is just so freaking fun to play with. And viability, it's also very viable. I gotta give it another A. I had a lot of fun with this. Comment your build down below. Sub, like, bless your faces, deuces.